When people think of RemoteLock as just a smart lock, we try to reframe it and kind of go through the history of the company. That's certainly understandable that people have that perspective because that is where we started as a company 15, 16 years ago. But we have totally divested any hardware manufacturing, and we are 100% a software company. And how I reframe that is basically a smart lock is only as good as the software that helps run it and centralize it. The platform has really evolved from a core access control software by adding IoT elements of thermostat control and leak detection. As property managers grow their portfolio and grow, the different properties that they're managing, it's super easy when you're doing 1 or 2 buildings. When you get to 5 to 10 to 20 buildings, the complexity of your tech stack causes a lot of swivel chair. And that means extra time, double data entry, and having to go to different places and different parts to be able to try to remember where you're entering customer information, how you're setting up the systems. And so we bring that together to be able to consolidate your tech stack down to fewer tools. Manual work that a property manager would have to do without a access control integrated with their PMS is manual entry of setting up the guests, so name, address. They're doing this twice, sometimes 3 times, depending on the technologies they're using. They're having to go in and manually, set a time to be able to let the guests check in. They're having to manually produce the credential, whether that be a PIN code or a mobile credential for the guest to be able to access the unit. That's all manual. Access control is fully integrated into our, large portfolio of integration partners. You basically deliver on automation by not having to turn around and re-enter reservations. So if somebody books a reservation, you don't have to go re-enter that in your access, manually produce a code, manually set the time of when they check in and when they check out. It's all automated through that PMS integration when that guest makes the reservation. So what centralized management looks like for a property manager or an operator and if we walk through kind of real world workflows, is it allows for somebody that has management of multiple buildings that make up, say, a property and multifamily, or multi-properties that make up a certain segment or territory of portfolios. It allows them to be able to have a single view via their single PMS account of all of those different properties. So instead of having to pop around and go to different systems for different buildings and learn different systems, they have basically one system that's kind of centralized across their portfolio, and they get it all through a single pane of glass for management. The key is building the foundation as you're planning your growth. So if you get to the point of having too many properties and you don't have this centralization, you're going to have a little bit more work to kind of bring it together. Now, we certainly work with many customers that have, failed to do this, and we do help them consolidate, and that's not an issue. But by building the foundation first with those growth plans in mind, you've got the software in place to very simply add additional portfolios, additional buildings, additional VR and short-term rental of cabins and houses. We have gotten really good feedback from our customer base, both on the multifamily channel and the vacation rental channel. On the multifamily side, we're saving roughly about 20% of their operational time. So what does that mean? That means leasing agents and property managers now are spending more time on what they need to be spending on to be filling leases and leasing out buildings and not running around with keys or fobs. As portfolios grow, the work shouldn't get harder. With true centralization and automation from RemoteLock, operators get clarity, consistency, and room to scale.